Alright, guys, my camera broke out. And the crazy thing is like, I felt that some of the things that I had later gone through, they were something that Jesus was discussing with God about me over. I always had these weird feelings I could never explain, and I could never get any clarity on any of them if I talked about them. I had this theory that when we die, or before we are born, actually, that we have a discussion with God before we jump through the fucking portal, right? The chrysanthemum, and we fall out of that birth canal and forget ourselves. Your discussion with God about every single thing that you will go through, the trials and tribulations you will go through, the family who will raise you, all the people who will hurt you, help you, all of your pain, all of your success, all of your triumph, all of your gold, all of your down, horrible, in the gutter, rock bottom moments. You pick everything. And when the Father says, "Are you sure?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And you're born, and you jump, and you break through, and you happen. And you forget yourself, because it's part of the deal, you know? To find yourself back, to remember the state of amnesis, which means remembering what we forgot. I have a lot to discuss. I would really like if somebody like, share, and subscribe if you have any questions or anything. I will try to provide as much insight to you personally as I can. Now, as I'm going on with my life, I started to notice a lot of weird little synchronicities and things that, after a while, I started to doubt the idea of what a coincidence was, because I started to see it so much, it started to kind of scare me. And I didn't say anything because I was so afraid that I might be like a schizophrenic or something, not even knowing what it was, 9, 10 years old. I just knew that ever since I saw that conversation being had between Jesus and God, after that conversation that teacher had with us, those years ago, I started to dream things, but then I'd wake up and they'd happen. It seems kind of coincidental, I guess, if you're that kind of person, right? But it happened a lot. So much that it kind of rooted a fear inside me, because I was so afraid I could see the truth, but I didn't know how to interpret it. I didn't know how to understand it. How, if I knew it, I didn't know how to believe it. I never knew my father. A man who never quite shared those same feelings for me. Never forgot to make sure I didn't forget. I don't use it as a crutch. I don't want sympathy. I'm not here to talk about, oh, woe is me. So as we go on, you know what I'm saying, these dreams that I keep having, they happened a lot. I remember the first time that it started to happen, and I was 8 years old. It had already been occurring. Little did I know I was better at this than I had ever thought I could be before I could ever know what it was or what I was doing. And it grew with me. Thank God for that. So, the first time I had ever had one of these dreams, it was a period of like 4 or 5 days. And it was weird because like I was going to sleep, laying down to go to sleep at night, closing my eyes, feeling comfortable, opening them for a moment again and realizing that it was already morning. And with less than a blink of an eye, this happened about 4 or 5 days in a row. I will never, ever, ever forget this. And this is the first time I've been fully open to discussing this, like, I don't know, social media, so, here goes nothing. But, I remember a dream that periodically kept having throughout my life, a couple, but this first one, you ever seen the movie Lion King? Remember when Simba fell in the trench and he saw his uncle betraying his father, and the stampede almost crushed him and the situation going on. I remember, maybe it was all psychologically like linked, right? I don't even know if I had seen Lion King yet. But I just remember being so immersed in this situation I woke into. And I was at the bottom of a cliff bed. And there was this stampede, but that's how I know it was totally like a dream. And it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But it wasn't like bison. They were fucking dinosaurs. Weird, right? And they were just charging. I think it was like they were spooked or trying to get away from something or trying to find freedom. It seemed like they were trying to get away, right? And I had nothing to do because I couldn't wake up except run for my life. It seemed like in this dream that I was stuck in. And while this is happening and I'm trying to find a safe place to stay and just avoid the things crashing around me, and I see these little orbs, kind of big, and something told me that if you touch that, you will die. And there was this feeling around it that felt like sleep paralysis. So if it got close to me, if I was lucky, I'd wake up. They kept trying. I felt like they were hurting the animals. I don't know, but they seemed like they were observant. So I felt like I was trying not to be seen by these things, not touch them, and not now avoid a stampede of something that I can't even imagine. So it's fair to say that, one of my grandfathers, allegedly, married to my grandmother, he used to give me a lot of dinosaur books that were like college educational level, like he used to give them to me, and I would read them and I would bask in them. Maybe it was linked to that, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm running and I'm making a small way through this trench, and I'm starting to get observant of this situation. And all of a sudden, I just dissipate. It's like I was just abducted, but just momentarily moved to another space, still there in this dream. And I remember suddenly I was just standing over the edge of this cliff bed where I was just at, looking down at this. And there are these 12 very, very tall cloaks. Okay? And I was scared. Right? And one peered out to me and said, "You don't know who you are, do you?" And if I would make it this far in this dream, every time I would wake up. Now, gradually, I like the way Dennis McKenna, Terrence A1, rest in peace, and full homage to that man, is his brother as well. I like the way Dennis and a few people who were on London Real described this idea. They call it disciplined imaginary focus. I really like that term because, especially if you were trying to describe this without really knowing the right kind of words to italicize. Disciplined imaginary focus. And it stayed with me my whole life. I remember the first time I had ever heard Eminem. Okay? I had just moved here to Elmira. My stepdad, who I did not know was my stepdad at the time still, so many lies, had just went to prison. And we had to move here. Well, I had never heard rap music yet. Just before we moved, I'll never forget this. I was about 4 years old in like 96. And I was standing in front of the television when they aired Tupac was officially dead. Man was a genius. Full homage. I respect every single thing he was about. See, I had that memory. I'll never forget it. I just remember being a toddler looking at my mother and seeing her facial expression when they aired that. I'm so grateful to have that memory. And when I moved here to Elmira, I'll never forget it too, because the first time I had ever heard him, I'm so glad once I learned who Eminem was, it had taken me back to who Tupac was. And if it wasn't for that led to that led to me realizing who he was, that he even happened and I had remembered it, I'm so grateful for that memory. Well, I like to think that as much as we all want freedom, hopes, and wishes to lead us prosperity, love, abundance. What is abundance? What is true abundance? Already having every single thing that we only dream of chasing all day long, right here, knowing and accepting it, that brings us peace, true peace, and right and authenticity to live in this moment. Free, liberated, liberation, my favorite words. I got a theory about words. Some words that are real words, and some words that are just utilized to take away original interpretations. We'll get into that later. But I want freedom, the pursuit of happiness. Is that a dream? Or is it a goal? Are they the same thing? Is it like what has happened and what hasn't? What is meant to happen and what was meant to that still hasn't? Not a far stretch.